Oh, yes, indeed. It's that time again. We are live, and it is the Logan Summit Show. I happen to be, Logan Summit. Makes sense, right? It would be weird if the name on my underwear didn't match the name of the show. But, anyways, we are here, and we are brought to you by Newer. If you're a pro content creator or just an amateur starting out, go to newer.com, use code Logan. It's going to save you 20% off all of your pro and amateur gear. Go get some. You'll thank me in the morning. All right, today we've got another interview with a fighter. Why? Because Fridays for Fighters, right here on the Logan Summit Show. And I have with me my new best friend, Jimmy the Sandstorm Sandlin. How you doing today?
Doing very good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, when you come to the ring, do you throw down that old EDM song, Sandstorm? Do you come out with glow sticks? What's up?
I have two times. I wish I had the glow sticks. That's something that I could probably add for my walkout because it is a performance in itself. So I need
It
to,
is.
add to that.
Yeah, you know what? The boxing industry has really stepped up their game as far as entrances in the last few years. And now MMA is starting to get to it as well. We're seeing a little bit more of that WWE mentality in MMA and boxing. Now, you've been around the block. Your record right now is 8-11, but you had a very strong amateur background. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe you had 12 amateur fights.
I did. I had 12 amateur fights. I wanted to do more amateur fights, but I kept breaking my hand. I kept getting cut open. And I was on a 5-fight winning streak, and I won two titles. So I was like, well, let's go professional. Let's, get paid. I don't want to get hurt for free no more. I mean, yeah, you get money through tickets or whatever, but like that's a very small amount.
Right.
Not enough to cover my medical bills. uh, but but man, yeah, I've been around the block too. My record's really deceptive, man. I've fought a lot of great competition. I've been international. I've got a lot of decision losses that should be my way.
Like Dana White says, do not leave it in the judge's hands. It always comes back to bite you.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true, man. I've experienced that way too many times, professional and amateur. Um, but that's a good segue because this whole camp, man. I've been on fire. I've made a lot of changes, and it's not going to go to a decision May 10th.
All right. May 10th, you will be fighting on the new line cage fighting, and you will be taking on Quentin Parks Jr., who is currently 9-5. Why don't you briefly talk about some of those things that you worked on in camp that is going to be able to have your hand raised above Quentin's on May 10th?
Yeah, camp's been going good. I've dropped a lot of decision loss fights. I just, I would get off to a slow start. I would try to wait until, the third round. My cardio is good, but it's like, the fights go way faster than you think.
Yeah, they do.
Um, so, I get to the third round and it's like, I might win, or it might be close, but it's like I lost on the points in the first couple rounds. So, to get around that, I've just been really working on like my striking and, my pace. I've been working on a lot of strength and conditioning type of things. Uh, but I've really focused heavy on my stand up because I want to get to it and get busy right off the bat. Uh, it's not like I have time to wait anyways, especially
Right.
going into a guy's hometown. Like I'm already at a disadvantage doing that.
Yeah,
That's
you are.
That's why when it goes to a decision, I've lost, many times now. I'm going like, I take tough competition. I step
Right.
up. I travel. Uh, but that's just been my biggest hang up is like, I wait too long. I've also been bouncing between different weight classes, and that's honestly hurt me so much. Um, so I've just been focusing on my pace and getting my strength and conditioning where it needs to be at.
Yeah, well, you've been working on your Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, I've been working on my Muay Thai, and I have been focusing more on my boxing.
Okay.
Like for Q Park specifically,
Hmm.
uh, I'm not gonna go jab for jab with this dude. So, uh, you know, I gotta figure out how to get around the distance. Uh, I'm not just gonna, sit on the edge and like jab. So I got to figure out how to get around his length because he's gonna be a lot taller than I
Yeah.
am.
You're gonna have to get inside like Mike Tyson. You're gonna have to get in there and do some damage. Like what we've been talking about. Shoot first, right? Maybe that's gonna be the answer to the equation right there. Take him down, ground and pound, and don't allow him to get those hands on you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I'll definitely be stronger than Q, and I think that I can definitely get the takedowns majority of the times that I attempt them. I do have a wrestling background, and the way my style was just like I'll shoot a bunch of shots. I might not get the first two or three, but it's like four or five, six. I'm getting the guy down. So I'm trying to bring that into the cage, but for MMA, I need to set him up. Uh, because if I shoot at a distance, he's gonna see it coming.
Yeah.
Same way if I try to go like jab for jab with the dude, he's gonna see it coming. Uh, so honestly, I've just been trying to just work on like my pace.
Hmm.
I just want to get after it. You know, I want to be relentless and
Hmm.
steady, and suffocating.
Yeah,
Uh,
suffocating. There you go. Love that. You break out the thesaurus, brother. Break out the thesaurus. I love it.
that's
Now,
right.
speaking of strength, I want to get back to that. Um, now, obviously, Randy Couture far well into his 40s. You're 30 years old. I'm 46. Look, you're 30. That's not old, but in the fight game, you're getting there. But this is what I want to ask you. Around 30, there's something that happens in your body where I guess on the basketball court we call it old man strength. Do you feel like you've reached that? Like, are you stronger than you were at 27?
Oh, 100%. Like 1,000%, man. That's a good point that you just brought up. This whole training camp has been totally different for me. I'm seeing certain things in training where it's like, damn, I've never done that before. Um, like guys might touch me and they're getting hurt, and I'm like, I'm not even doing nothing. I think, like you said, like I'm starting to get to that, almost old man strength
Yeah.
type of thing. Like my body, feels more like bulletproof in a way. Like it's a lot, stiffer. Like like it's more made of steel in a way. Like obviously I'm not made of steel, but like
Oh, don't
in
put
the
yourself
past.
down. Don't put yourself
Yeah.
down. You're Wolverine, and you got animanium or whatever the heck it's called running through your veins, man. I love it.
Honestly, yeah, that's how I've been feeling. And I'll train with, heavier guys, 205, 185, 170, whatever. Um, and, when they're trying to grab me or take me down or strike with me, uh, like people are having a lot harder of a time now. And I'm noticing that when I go first, like when I set the pace and the aggression first, I'm noticing, people are folding a little bit more. Whereas in the past, like when I was cutting a bunch of weight, man, like, I'd be 190 trying to make 155.
Oh,
Uh,
come on, Patty, settle down, bro.
yeah, I had that patty mentality, man. My weight would get way too high and then I would crash cut. Like, I could have, maybe done it better. But it's like I'm spending more time, cutting the weight. My body's, getting really, really weak. And then the time that I'm spending, I'm not working on, progressing or getting stronger. Um, so I've come up a weight class now. I started at
Good.
170. I've fought at 185 when I was an amateur.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
yeah, like
So you're fighting
professionally.
the 6'2" dudes. You're 5'10", right?
Yeah,
They get a little bit taller as you go up in those weight classes.
yeah, but I would cut down to 155, and I would also fight people who were like 6'1", six
Yeah.
foot two, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to fight, guys maybe more my height, but it's like, no matter where I'm at, 55, 70, 85. Uh, it's like, they're the same height, just, different weights. Like,
There's always those string
professionals.
beans, right? Those long, lanky dudes. 155, he's 6'3", can dunk a basketball. But ask him to eat a burger, and forget about that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, I just think, if no matter what weight class I'm at, there's always going to be those, tall, lanky guys.
Yeah.
So, like, 70 is a good mix. Like,
Mhm.
ideally, like 165 would probably be my weight class. Like MMA, it goes 55, 170, 185.
Yeah,
But
Matt Hughes had to fight at 170. Let's be honest.
yeah,
If he thought he could probably only get down to 160, and that's why he didn't probably fight that much at 155. But Matt Hughes is not necessarily a 170 fighter. You know,
yeah, especially in today's MMA, definitely
yeah,
not like and I also do boxing and grappling too, and the weight classes are really weird where it's
right.
like you got 160, 163, 165, 168, 175. So it's like I'm floating between so many weight classes. It's hard to keep up with and keep my body kind of stabilized.
So,
Like
Jimmy, I got a question for you while we're on that. I've talked about this in the past. One of my biggest pet peeves about boxing, besides the fact that there's 8,000 belts and no one knows anything about it, is we need between MMA and boxing a uniform weight class system. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I would definitely, like that. Uh like, boxing it goes up like every 3 or 4 pounds,
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Yeah, and like you said, like there's so many different belts. It's like, I don't even know, which ones are which, to be honest. Like, yeah, you got
Well,
the
no,
the
it's true.
prestigious you got
What
the
was
prestigious belts, but it's like,
Yeah.
man, there's like, 5 or 6 of them, and it's like, which one,
I don't know. Usually they've got like three of them if they're the undisputed champion. But which three? WBC. I mean,
WBA,
yeah.
WBO, whatever,
It's got a W in front of it, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
What was the first fight you ever watched?
Um, my very first fight I ever watched, it would have been a boxing fight. Honestly, I think it was I want to say Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti.
Mickey Ward. You know what? One of my interviews yesterday, he said his two favorite fighters are Floyd Mayweather and Mickey Ward. And I asked him point blank, who wins in a fight? And obviously, you got to go with the undefeated one. Uh, well, I think they were Mayweather. Obviously, takes the cake because a lot of people believe that he's the goat. Are you in that? Are you in that thought process?
Um, I think Mayweather definitely beats Mickey Ward. I
Yeah.
don't think that Mayweather's the GOAT.
No, who is?
If I had to, it would definitely be one of the heavyweights. Like Floyd boxed a heavyweight. Floyd's gonna lose 100 out of 100 times.
It's
Uh,
like going against 100 gorillas, right?
yeah. Oh man, I've been seeing that blow up recently.
Yeah, did you see
Uh,
Chuck Norris? Somebody did put Chuck Norris against 100 gorillas, and I got to tell you that simulation is a little messed up because Chuck Norris beat those gorillas.
he wishes.
Yeah, I mean the beard did all the work. He just sat there and laughed. So you're on a three loss streak right now.
yeah.
Yeah. What mentally, what did you have to do, or what do you have to do? What do you continually have to do to keep yourself focused, ready for action, and understand that you're going to win some, you lose some, especially with you, because it sounds like you just take opportunity where opportunity is, because you never know. You've always got a puncher's chance. You can make it happen, and I love that about you. You're willing to travel. You're willing to get into it with. Weight class be damned. It don't matter what your weight is. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your weight is. You don't care. And I love that about you. But what are some of the things that you have to do as a fighter to prepare yourself mentally?
Um, like for me specifically, like I just see the progression in my training. Um, I'm constantly learning things. I'm constantly getting healthier and stronger. Like, before when I was bouncing around, lighter weight classes, it was just too much. I didn't even want to go down those weights anyways. Uh, coach after coach, yeah, cut the weight. I heard it all in wrestling too. And then, the times where I didn't cut the weight, that's where I, did my best.
Right.
Uh, collegiately and in high school. Fighting's maybe a little bit different where the weigh-ins are the night before.
Mhm.
um but I'm looking at my record. I'm like, I was what, like two and maybe seven at the time at 155.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I was like 6-1 at one point, um at 170. And maybe like I came up a little bit too quick. I didn't have enough time to settle back into the weight class.
Mhm.
I had a couple fluke. Well, I've had some fluke losses, like, early stoppages, and then a fluke stoppage in September, man. A guy that Quentin actually beat. So I'm trying to get that rematch because that was the biggest fluke loss of my whole career.
You want to call out
Um,
the referee?
no, no,
I was joking. Why would
no,
you
not
do
that,
that?
not that referee, man. But there's been a couple where it's like, man, like, the TKO was a little bit quick.
Yeah.
um, and I dropped a decision loss. Really close match, but the guy just jabbed and circled and then won a decision. I got tired in the last round, so I'm like, I had the fight won. I'm right there. Like, my results definitely don't speak for, like, how I'm training, like the skill sets that I have and the skills that I bring, to the table. Um, so I'm just, I'm looking for that, win streak. But going back to what you said, what keeps me fresh is I'm seeing, the progression. I'm seeing, me getting healthier, me getting stronger, me learning more. Like, I've got, I don't know, 33, 34. This might be my 35th fight. I forget how many fights I have. But I'm still learning. I still, like, this is the freshest I've ever felt in my whole career, amateur or professional. Um and that keeps me motivated. And I see guys that have beat or have, could beat, going to the biggest stages. Guys that have been matched up to fight before, making it to the UFC. And I'm like, dude, like I'm literally right there. Like, I just need, a win streak, uh, and have like, uh, finishing performances. Um, so, like, it's almost like the hope factor. Like, I can
Mhm.
see it. I can see I can see myself, getting better. I can see myself making it to those bigger stages,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing the progression in my training. Um, like, it's literally right there in front of me. I just got to go get it now and have the results speak for itself.
Yes, that's what you got to do. The results need to speak for themselves, and you need to get back to your winning ways. Let's play a game right now. All right, you walk into a bar in Viva Las Vegas, and instead of me sitting here, Dana White is sitting there. What is the elevator speech? What do you say to Dana White to make sure that he remembers Jimmy the Sandstorm Sandlin?
Hey, man, I've fought against, multiple UFC guys. I have, wins, and, I've had some decision losses that should have gone my way. But, I'm trying to represent, my town. I've been working really hard. When I'm not in the hospital in the laboratory setting, like, I'm beating people up. I'm trying to break through and make it to the biggest stages, man. Uh, I'm a one of a kind fighter. Nobody else is the Sandstorm. Um, like, I'm gonna put on, finishing performances. I'm gonna, it's gonna be, I'm gonna knock the dude out, or the dude's gonna knock me out or submit me. It's gonna be 100% finish every single time from here on out. Um, I'm willing to travel. Like, I've traveled to people's cities, their own states. I've gone international. Like, I'm not afraid of the competition. Like, you send me anywhere, I'll fight anyone, man. Uh, like, I'm ready. I'm a real fighter. Like, all these phonies online, talking on social medias, posting, fake videos, uh, tagging, calling people out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about it. Like, these people aren't about it. I'm about it.
Have gloves,
My,
will travel, right?
yeah, have shorts, will travel. You know,
Yeah.
you give me the gloves. You don't even have to pay me. Like
Yeah.
I'm straight up. You know, you give me one shot in the UFC. You don't even have to pay me. I'll do it for free. I'll fight anybody. Like I just want to be on that stage. You know, that's been my whole life's goal. You know, that's why I still fight. Like I know I can be there. I know I can make it. It's not even about the money for me. Like I just want to fight on that stage because I know I can, and I know I have the skills to do it. So it's not about the money. Like I'm a real fighter, and if you know, my
Oh, come
my
on. It's always about a little bit of the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
yeah, but you know, I've worked my butt off, man. You know, I've got a college education. I
Good
work
job.
as a toxicology laboratory technician. You know, I used to have sponsors, but I don't have sponsors right now because I just feel like, you know, with the amount of work that I'm doing, almost takes away from that. Uh
Okay, so let's play another game then. If you could have one sponsor, if there was one company that you had to put on your shorts or and believe in their product and use their product or whatever it may be, what's the one sponsor that you would love to have?
um Oh man, that's a good question. You know, I've never thought of that. Uh, you know, maybe there's things that I, you know, personally believe in. Um, there's a lot of things that I would prefer or personally want to represent.
Mhm.
Um, you know, nothing supplement wise.
Somebody said
Nothing.
Waffle House earlier, so
Waffle House.
yeah, just so you know, you're in, you pick anything you want, really.
um. Oh man, that's a great question. Uh, You know, if I could, you know, have the time to think, I would probably pick a local business, you know, kind of unique to my town or the towns that are close by. And actually, I did have a sponsor, a family sponsor, a family-owned business.
That's great.
Um, and I was really proud to represent the business, and you know, it's family owned. Um, you know, they're a shot blast company. You know, they clean and repair, you know, mechanical tools and stuff of that nature.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so you know, like blue collar type of
I
stuff.
like that. I like that. You know what? How big is your town? Is it small?
My town is, yeah. It's considered a village. We're like on the border of like city and rural. You know, the
Okay, yeah, yeah.
next town over is all farmland. You know, my town's like half and half, but it's, you know, really small. Nobody, you know, really knows about it. It's unique in the fact that uh you give directions by saying, "Hey, you know, it's over by the spaceships." Um,
Okay.
yeah, there's
I'm not
a
even gonna ask. I'm not even gonna ask. I'm assuming it's like a playground thing, right?
no. It's almost like a sculpture, but it's like a house. So it's a UFO. It's called a Futuro home, but it's like, you know, it's a UFO spacecraft. It's like two flying saucers connected in the middle,
Okay.
and I think it goes underground too.
Oh wow.
Uh,
So you've never actually been in it then?
no, I've had opportunities too, and I've missed my chance. So
You know, if you don't, you miss every chance that you don't take.
that's right.
I mean, that's a
Two strikes, but you're not going to get me the third time. So.
yeah. There you go. And that's wise words of advice from my new best friend, Jimmy the Sandstorm. Dun, 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 dun. Sandlin. All right, bro. You will be fighting on May 10th. New line cage fighting. You can check it out on millions.co. And he will be fighting none other than Q, aka Quentin Parks Jr. I think you're gonna do great. And I think you're going to get back to your winning ways. I like your headspace. I like where you're at right now. I think mentally you're in a good place, and also physically, as we talked about that old man strength. Yeah, yeah. I'm picking you to get the rebounds in our pickup basketball game. That's what I'm saying. But it's not over yet. Wait, there's more. It's time to play the game all the kids are talking about on the streets and in the playgrounds. 5 questions. It's exactly what it sounds like, Jimmy. It's going to be 5 questions, okay? Maybe 6. Who knows? It could get crazy. Question number one. Oh, before I get to that, it's brought to us by Newhouse. If you're sitting in a gaming chair right now, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the rhythm and the style that you're used to. Get out of that gaming chair. The real bosses like Bill Gates and all those dudes, they don't sit in gaming chairs. They sit in real chairs. Go to newhouse.com. Use code Logan Radio Rocks for your best in office decor and home decor. You butt will thank me in the morning. Ooh, I think that's what the kids say. Pause. All right, let's get into it right now. If you could fight anyone in the entire world, who would it be?
Trevor Peak.
All right, why do you want to fight Trevor Peak?
I was supposed to be matched up with that dude in the past for a 165 title or 170 title in his home state, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
But OHIO. But that was when I was at the height of my career. I got a big opportunity fight for Combate Global in Miami, Florida. So I chose that fight over the Trevor Peak fight, and then you know what happened next? He went to the UFC.
Yeah, you did.
Uh, and that has made me so mad for like 4 or 5 years now. So I'm like, dude, I see this dude. I know I can beat this dude, and he's in the UFC. Like fight like people like that. That's what keeps me fresh because I'm trying to fight and get my win streak to get these guys. And if he does end up getting cut from the UFC somehow, I want to be his first fight on the regional scene.
Well, maybe he's your first fight when you make it over to the UFC. And I'm glad, by the way, that it's a fighter thing because I thought you were going to be like, that kid took my lunch money and my sneakers in the fifth grade playground, and I really want to beat his ass. Although that would have been a great answer. I think Trevor, maybe in your future, moving along. All right, number two. I think you're going to have a good answer for this. I think this is a question right up your alley. What is the biggest life lesson that fighting has taught you?
It was a quote from a friend, in a town close by. He said, don't get discouraged. I've had so many losses in my life, man. Wrestling, jujitsu, boxing, MMA. Don't get discouraged. Maybe that comes from, doing, hard work in school too. I didn't, losses or missed answers, whatever. Like I'm gonna keep going forward. I'm gonna keep getting better. Uh, I'm gonna improve on myself constantly. Continued education, but don't get discouraged. That's another thing that's kept me fresh too. Don't get discouraged on my losses. I know I'm better. I know I have more skills than these guys that are, beating me. Uh, I'm right there. I just gotta, find myself and find, my pace and, let the results start speaking for itself.
Yeah, it'll all come together if you allow it to. I believe in you, and I know you believe in yourself. So you've already got that going for yourself. All right. I don't believe I asked you this earlier. Sometimes it just comes up in conversation, but I want to know who is your uh, favorite pound for pound MMA fighter of all time? Who's the best?
Ooh, well, the best, man, and I almost hate to say it, the best is John Jones.
Mm,
Pound for pound, skill set, uh, you know, it's cool. He's got it. Wrestler, that's cool. Um, but my favorite fighter,
yeah.
oh
Who
man,
do you like to watch?
when I think about, my favorite fighter, uh, oh man, Jeremy Stevens is tough. He's
Oh
actually
yeah,
coming back to the UFC.
that's great.
Um, uh, oh man, uh, I mean, Sean Shirk was a good fighter, but
Yeah, it was.
I like more of the stand up guys. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, Joaquin Butley and
Mhm.
dang, he just fought. Uh, I'm not gonna remember his name. Brazilian guy. Uh, part of the nerd squad.
Yeah.
He just beat Bryce Mitchell. That dude at 145. I forget his name. But that guy's probably my favorite guy to watch right now. He's got
Sorry,
the
Google's
skills
got
on
you
the
covered.
ground.
Everybody at home's using Google right now. Don't worry about it. They
Oh
got
yeah,
they,
everybody knows.
yeah,
I'm gonna remember the name as soon as I get off here. I'm gonna be like, man, that should have been
yeah.
so obvious.
The second I
Uh,
click end stream, you're gonna go, oh.
yeah, yeah. But
All right.
a well-rounded guy, that's the guy that I like to watch, and then a guy, who can get finishes. Those are the guys I like to watch.
Now, a lot of the fighters, everybody's, I eat clean. I eat clean. I'm always eating clean. Do you have a cheat day?
Oh yeah, all the time, man.
What do you
I've
rock
got
on your cheat day?
right now, right now it's been Krispy Kreme donuts and saltwater taffy.
Oh, saltwater taffy. You know what? As a kid for years, I would never try saltwater taffy because I just assumed it tasted like saltwater, but oh, it's
Right.
delicious.
Oh heck yeah, it is.
What's your favorite flavor of saltwater taffy?
uh, That's a good question. My favorite flavor right now, it's like this blueberry pancake flavor. I've never had it before. It's kind of unique to maybe the area that I'm in.
Mhm.
Like when I go on the coast, let's say I go, out of state, on a vacation. Like I don't see that flavor nowhere. Like you get a lot of like key lime, like
Oh yeah.
pie or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You get a lot of like orange, like citrus, type of things. Uh, but I buy from this little shop in the town that I work in, uh at the Germantown Fresh Market.
Oh, nice.
You
Nice.
know if they could sponsor me, that'd actually be pretty cool.
There you go.
um but that's where I buy my sweets from.
And you got to have your sweets, man. Even the Rock, his cheat days on Sundays, and he likes donuts. We've all seen his Instagram, but he also likes to make cookies. He likes to make chocolate chip cookies, and I have been able to sample one of his chocolate chip cookies, and I got to tell you, it's really good. It's really good. The man can make some chocolate chip cookies. Is there anything that like cooking or baking like that you do? Um, can you make a dope ass lasagna? What's up?
Oh, I wish. I make a dope ass mac and cheese
Yeah.
and pasta and chicken. Ooh, but maybe my
Ooh.
specialty is maybe steak. I
All
can
right.
cook a mean medium rare steak.
Yeah, well, medium rare is the only way to cook a steak. And if you're at home right now yelling, no, no, I like mine. You're wrong. You're just wrong. It's medium rare or nothing. You're wrong. I don't care how you like it. This is not actually something that can go back and forth. This isn't a teeter totter battle here. It's medium rare or nothing. I'm just gonna put it out there. All right. Last question of 5 questions. I kind of asked you this earlier. So think about it a little bit. You've been knocked down. What gets you back up?
Um, just seeing maybe the prize at the end of the road. Whether it's a title or that one UFC fight or whatever it might be. Chasing guys like I mentioned, Trevor Peak. There's other guys that I want to fight. Like where they're at, where I want to be at.
Mhm.
So you know taking that next step up on the ladder or the rankings, that keeps me fresh. What also keeps me fresh is like, I come from a small town. I'm helping out high school programs in rural areas. um I want to set maybe the bar, at a certain level, which is pretty high. But like hoping that other people also see that and try to like, go a step beyond me. So like, I want to show people, where I'm from, like, hey, these big things can happen. uh
Where are you from,
how
by the way? We've been talking all around it. Why don't you tell everybody
Right.
where you're from?
uh I'm from Carlisle, Ohio. It's
I
in the
was born
south.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in the northeast region. I'm in the southwest region of Ohio.
Okay. Is that
um
by Natty?
it's close. I mean, it's like 35, 40
Yeah,
minutes.
that's close enough.
Yeah, I'll go down there to train. I'll train around Dayton. Like I kind of live halfway between both of those cities.
Mhm.
um but like I'm helping people out from like Germantown, Carlisle, Gratis, and then places in between. uh and those are like small, like ruralish areas, pretty much farmland area.
You know what, Jimmy?
um
I want you in your next fight when they ask you where you're from, put parts unknown. When I was growing up, WWF wrestlers, there was always a guy, maybe wearing a mask, maybe he had a green face or whatever, and he was always from parts unknown. I'd like to see some MMA fighters like Conor McGregor if he wasn't so Irish. I think like he would do that kind of stuff. He'd be like, "I'm from parts unknown."
You know what? I actually might do that. I might come out with glow sticks. I might come out to Darude,
No.
Sandstorm. Uh, where am I from? Parts unknown, literally, because nobody knows where I'm from. And if you do, you know it because of the spaceships that are from my town.
Yeah, literally the spaceships. Well, you know what? Your barber is keeping you so fresh and so clean. So shout out to whoever cuts your hair because that do is doing you well over there, my friend.
It's gonna be cleaned up come fight time too. I got a little style I'm trying to rock now. But shout out to me because I'm my own barber.
Oh,
But
really?
but yeah, but if I got a barber sponsorship, that'd be pretty cool too, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
fighting in the main event. I've been all over the place. I've been state to state, international, like, if a
internationally
barber.
known and you're known to rock the microphone and you've got plentiful fists of fury to throw as well, right? I can't wait to see you get in the ring. It's going to happen on May 10th for New Line Cage Fighting. You will be fighting Quentin Q Parks Jr. And this is your time right now, Jimmy. It's our time down here. It's their time up there, but this is your time right now. I want you to talk to the sponsors that you don't have that you want to get. I want you to thank all of your friends and family and your coaches and your team who have supported you. This is your time. You can talk about it. Hey, if you want to talk about your favorite cartoon, you go right ahead. There you go. Floor is yours.
Yeah, definitely want to thank my sponsors from the past. They've all been really good. I just haven't, brought them back on, financially because I've been able to support myself. I still rock their names, their companies, and the support. And they actually got me on a big stage, at one point in my career, and that helped me, not be homeless. Like, I was homeless for a little bit. I had, I got my house, I got my own place now. So
That's
they
great.
really helped me, and they helped me or catapult my career. I've had some ups and downs just with some personal life battles, but that's okay. I've found ways to overcome those things. Um, but I want to thank my teammates and the people in camp helping me right now. Um, Sky Gooden, Hunter Frazier, who just won his amateur fight just here recently. Elijah Elijah Woodruff, he's got his professional debut coming up.
I'm sorry. What was that dude's name again?
Elijah Woodruff.
Yeah, so Elijah Wood, but he riffs on it like I thought you were gonna say Elijah Wood, and I'm like, really? They're fighting now? What's going on, bro? What's going on?
I also want to thank Liam Hamill. You know, he's a nephew to Matt Hamill, and I've been trying to work with them, a lot more. Great athletes, great coaches, and a great team. So I'm trying to, get my work in with those guys. And right now they've made a very significant impact on my training camp. Um, pretty much just those guys. I'll train with guys that I used to train with in the past. But specifically for Quentin, those are the main guys that's been helping me. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much those are the main people I want to thank right now. Going forward, say let's say I get this big win in the main event, like
When you
maybe.
get, when you get, when you get the big win in the main event, I don't want to hear you ever say that again. No self doubt in this ring, buddy.
No, that's right. Yeah, don't doubt myself for this fight. Um, when I get my win, I'm going to consider, bringing back some sponsors on board. Um, that way I can, maybe clear up, some more training and start catapulting myself, to the next level because, I need, like, I've fought all over the place, but I need more exposure. I need more marketing. I just, but I want to get my results to speak for itself first. So,
That's a
um,
great place to start, Jimmy. That's a great place to start. Well, I think you're going to make that start on May 10th. You'll be fighting for New Line Cage Fighting and Quentin Parks Jr. You better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. We got old man strength over here. He's back. He's got a fresh do, and he's looking to throw some hands at YOU, Q. See what I did there? See how that? Anyways. All right. This right there, 30-year-old man who is about to devour a man named Q, coming May 10th. This is Jimmy the Sandstorm Sandlin! And I am Logan Summit. This has been another edition of the Logan Summit Show. Need you to do me a favor. Be good to yourself and be kind to others. Play it forward, pay it forward. Rock like a party star, party like a rock star. Smile strong, laugh loud. And last but not least, please like, follow, and subscribe. We'll be back next week with more interviews. And remember, you can find me on everything, all the platforms, The Logan Summit Show. All right, be good. And if you can't be good, please, for the love of God, be quick. We'll see you soon. Oh, hey, Jimmy, everybody loves a good fight.
That's right.